Brand new episode of Get Inspired with Jason, the podcast and YouTube show. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about turning pain into purpose. You guys know I've been through a lot of pain and a lot of hardships. Yeah, I'm going to talk about it for the rest of my life. I was obese. I lived in shelter homes. I was broke for many years. I was just an unhappy freaking son of a gun. Simple as that. Simple as that. And you're saying, wait a minute, Jason, but you've done all these amazing things. Who am I? I'm not a celebrity. You're not a celebrity. We're all amazing people, which brings me to today's special, and I mean very special guest. This is a former, one of the biggest celebrity trainers in NBC's history's Biggest Loser, all right? You might be saying, wait a minute, but there's so many. Yeah, but this guy, he's different. This guy's different. Let me tell you a little bit about him. Being a celebrity trainer for the Biggest Loser for, not just one season. This guy has been rocking and rolling the media for the past 10 plus years. He's also the creator of the 20-minute body and the founder of the Positive Vibes athleisure line Sweat with Soul. Brett Hoebel is his name, and he's an established fitness and motivation expert who is named one of the world's top 100 health and fitness influencers. Damn, boy. Woo! An overweight teen and lifelong martial artist now practicing Brazilian martial dance, capoeira, Brett has a positive fitness philosophy. And here it is. Fit isn't a look, it's a feeling. Yeah. Welcome, Brett. What's up, baby?
What's up, Caliente? ¿Cómo está, brother? What's up?
I'm good, man. Mi hermano, man. I am so excited. You and I have been trying to get this going for a while.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how in life, how energies attract energies, right? Sometimes for the good or the bad. Luckily for us, it's been for the good, right? Because isn't it funny in life, sometimes we attract those that seek our help, right? And sometimes we attract people that can help us as well. And your bond with being such a deep-rooted person with a positive soul has not only helped and transformed the life of thousands, but also made me realize saying, you know what, you can be a celebrity just like I'm known as a celebrity, but it comes down to being a decent human being. So for that, I thank you, my friend. All right, my man. So here's the deal. For anyone that's watching or listening right now, Brett and I have a few commonalities. Besides being both celebrity trainers, wellness experts, and inspiring individuals that really care about helping others, we know one well-known fitness trainer celebrity. Her name is Jillian Michaels, and Brett obviously was on The Biggest Loser. I was on the show Sweat Inc., where I was the finalist amongst thousands in the United States to see who has the best fitness program. So Brett, before we really, give people these amazing tips on how to turn pain into purpose, give the audience a little bit, in 30 seconds. You see Jillian in the news, I'm sure you've heard what's going on, how she's been talking about, the superstar, I believe her name is Liz. I do my hair, do my nails. Right. What's her name? I don't even know her name. Do you know it?
No.
Okay, exactly. Now, they keep on talking about fat shaming. What's your take on that? Do you think she's on the right? She's on the wrong? What's your take on Jillian on her talking about that?
Man, I mean, I can't speak for Jillian on that topic because she's her own person. What I can really talk about is my experience with her. I get asked this quite a bit, but it's interesting. When I came in on the show, I was brought on really specifically for my background as a trainer, as a career trainer. My partner at the time was a boxer, kind of an amateur Golden Gloves boxer. But I will say this, that the one thing that I really gained so much from being around Jillian was her ability. This was beyond a trainer. It was really as more of like a life coach. Her ability to go in and break down someone's walls and like literally get to the bottom of what it was they were feeling faster than anyone else I'd ever seen. And with 5 cameras rolling, all these people around, it was incredible because as a trainer, I mean, I wasn't really digging into people's skeletons that much when they're coming in to train with me when I was in your. This was a completely different thing. And what we did witness on the show, to be honest, was fat shaming. When we would take the contestants off the ranch and they would be seen in public, one of the things that upset me the most, an example is we had 2 teenagers on the show. Austin was one of them. He was 18 when he started. I would hear them comments in the gym. We'd go to a gym and I'd hear them in the locker room saying things, fat shaming them. And it was like, the thing that always stuck out is you don't even know where this person is in their journey. Like, this kid's already lost 100 pounds, man. So, I think whatever Jillian's perspective is on that, she herself was overweight. She's had her own battles with that. I can just say for me, it's like, why spend the energy judging someone about that when you don't know anything about where they are in their journey? That's just my own personal opinion.
Yeah, totally. I agree. A lot of the what I've seen throughout the past few weeks, and this was one of the topics that's just, again, it's everywhere on Twitter, this and that. It's 50-50. Who they're saying, who is she to actually be so judgmental? But then the other half, it's like saying, well, she's a professional. She's trying to make a point, saying like, look, you could do whatever you want, but be healthier. So again, I just wanted your take on that, and to each his own. At the end of the day, my audience knows Jillian did not want me on the show that I did in the beginning. She's tough as nails, type A personality. I've told her to her face, but we both have mutual respect.
Yes.
Which is saying, example, hey, you know what? I don't have to like you, but I can still respect you. And at the end of the day, I'd rather have that with someone than just pure animosity. Because
100%.
life is, yeah.
There's a lot of controversial things happening on the show and after the show, and she has that reputation. She has that sharp, very harsh reputation, and she was like that with the contestants. I mean, it was a much different approach than what I took. Yeah. But I will say that, again, understanding that people's defenses are up so much, and this is just something I think we'll probably talk about later, how important fitness can be in transformation, in that if you break someone down physically through basically fatigue, they don't have the defenses to keep making the excuses for stuff that they probably shouldn't. And then the truth starts to come out. And that was something that I realized of, like, sometimes that really tough love that you're seeing is sometimes a way to get a result that is really needed. Now, how you say those things can be very different. My way of saying it, very different.
Yeah.
But
it's not what you say, it's how you say it that can make or break a situation. Right? Just the same thing. You're wearing, by the way, we'll talk about your brand in a minute. You're wearing that love hat right now. 2 people can love each other equally, but if they love differently, that can totally shift this completely off sale, right?
100%.
Same thing expressing. You may work with a client better than me just because she likes someone that has your tone of voice versus mine, as an example. It doesn't matter what it can be. So that's what I tell people. I'm like, you want to work with me? Let's do a love language compatibility test. Let's do a personality test. And before you pay me, let's make sure we get along. But listen, I want to jump to it because, we got people sending messages. I've already let them know that you're going to be on the show. So Brett, you're going to break down today 8 tips that can really shift, right, and help people mentally, physically, emotionally, and get them out of a rough spot, so to speak. Again, you're going to go into it. And what I love what you sent me here is you said it's not about the pain, it's about what you do with it. So without further ado, would you mind breaking down these 8 tips for the world to hear and see about?
Yeah, I think that if you're going to talk about one of the greatest motivators ever, it's your pain, period. And I really believe at this point, it's not about the pain. We're all going to experience it. It's what you do with it, whether you let it define you or drive you.
Yeah.
And there are 2 types of pain in the world, in my opinion: the pain that hurts you and the pain that changes you. And you have that choice in every moment to decide whether it's going to hurt you or it's going to change you. And I think for you and I, it hurt for a while, but we turned it into a drive.
Yeah.
And that's so the 8 points, I mean, I really have thought about this over time. It's really how I work with a lot of clients, because I do believe a lot of the clients that are coming to me, their number one goal is weight loss. But underneath all of that, it's really self-doubt. That's a big one underneath. The weight loss is just something at the surface, but when you really dig underneath, they want to feel happier, they want to feel better, they want to feel sexy again, they want to feel loved again. And a lot of that has to do with self-doubt. So the number one thing right here, in my opinion, when you're dealing with your pain, is accountability. And that equals responsibility. That you are responsible for every result in your life. I'm going to say that again. You are responsible for every result in your life.
Yes.
And taking ownership of how you contributed to your pain allows you to change. You're always pointing the finger away and blaming other people. You're giving them the power. If you can point the finger within and understand how you contributed to that, you can change yourself. You can't change someone else. So that brings the control back to you and allows you to make a change.
Amen. That is, woo, that made my hair stick up, because that just hit the spot. Why? I got in an argument with somebody, and let me tell you something. I was blaming them, and it took me 30, 45 seconds to internalize and rationalize and say, wait a minute, that's my ego talking, right? And I had to say, wait, I'm the one to blame, right? I'm the one to blame. So, whoa, that was awesome. All right, what's number 2? Give it to me.
Honesty is the best policy. And it's, can you be honest with yourself? Can you surrender to the fact that what you're doing right now in your life isn't working? And that's it's a big one. I've had to go through that in different times in my life and pivot in business and really understand that, hey, this is not working. And you need to make a change. And that's a difficult thing. Ego is a big one. Denial, there's a lot going on. But having the ability to really be present with yourself, assess the situation, and just be honest, that's number 2 for me.
Wow. I love it. And I mean, keep going. What's number 3?
And a lot of, where this hits a lot of people, it's in relationships.
Yeah.
Where you have to actually be like this relationship, whether it's a friendship, a love relationship, it's just not serving. It's not serving me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not serving them anymore. That's a really difficult. I see a lot of people, including myself at times, have stayed in relationships that they should have moved on from earlier because honestly, I wasn't honest with myself. Number 3.
Or not to interrupt or to add to it, sorry. Like I tell a lot of my, I do relationship coaching with my clients as well. Sometimes you either outgrow your partner or they outgrow you, right? And that happened in one of my previous relationships where I kept on working on myself and I was doing so well. I was so happy, but they didn't want to change and I outgrew it. That was it, and that relates to anything else in life, so absolutely.
Number 3, are you willing to ask for and accept help? So this is the SOS I call. And
what's SOS?
The SOS is a universal distress call, and I think it started at sea, like ships something of distress, but it was like it's a marine thing where this is kind of the SOS.
Oh, got it.
A distress call would be in Morse code. So really, the SOS thing is: are you willing to ask for and accept help. And I think a lot of people aren't. A lot of men, I know for a fact, aren't. And I witnessed that quite a bit on the show, The Biggest Loser, where a lot of the actually physically bigger guys that were looked at as the captains and this and that, they didn't want to ask for help. And once they did, things changed dramatically.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
And it's hard. A lot of people, you know, the ego is a difficult thing to deal with. I think that honesty, it comes first, and then sometimes you got to ask for help. And that can be the first thing of like looking, it could be therapy, it could be getting a trainer, it could be getting a relationship coach, it could be any of that. But I have my own coaches. I know, Jason, you've told me you have your own coaches. We all do. And that is a form of service and help. So we
100%. The more knowledge we have, the better we can serve ourselves and our community. And that's what people, including myself many years ago, I was a knucklehead. I wasn't grasping that, you know, it's kind of like that saying, you need money to make money. You need good coaches to be a better coach for others. Yeah. That's it. You know? So yeah. What's the next one, brother?
Feel to heal. And, you know, it's really about feeling what you need to go through that process, because suppressing emotions is not going to help you with change.
Yeah.
And it's easy to sedate that when you're starting to feel pain, to sedate it with drugs, with food, with sex, with a lot of things, with work. And the reality is taking the time to really go through that process of grief for whatever it is that you're feeling is really important. That I think a lot of people in this day and age with their cell phones and everything else can just sort of sedate themselves and not go through that.
Love it. Love it. And agree. What's the next one?
Be willing to endure the process. You know, one of my favorite quotes is, nothing epic grows inside your comfort zone.
Absolutely.
And the process of change is a long one. You know, I went through a long relationship I was in for almost 3 years, and it took me over a year to really go through this process of even being open to date again, or to, you know, to even something like, I needed at least a full year to go through being by myself, and you know, a year and a half.
Why did you need, for anyone that's listening or watching right now, you were together for 3 years. Now, was it because it was a bad breakup? Was it because you were too emotionally attached and it was a sudden cutoff? Like, give the audience a little feedback of why so long.
I think that just was, I deeply love this person, and it's really difficult when you know that you love someone, but you also know that ultimately you guys aren't just a good life partner fit for a lot of reasons.
Right.
But when you really have that love, or you felt it from them and you've given it, it's difficult. Mm-hmm. So I think part of the reason it took me a while to get over that is because there was a deep love that needed to kind of wash away, so to speak, or transition into something else. And for that to happen, and not to keep pointing the finger away, which is very easy to do, I had to keep pointing it in. And I had to grow myself. I had to really look at patterns and behaviors that I was doing that contributed to that, and work on myself.
Yeah.
And working on yourself doesn't take a week, doesn't take a month, it takes a while. And if you're committed to that process, then I think you will endure it. And that was just constantly looking at me and putting aside the, well, she did this, and oh wait, family, and that. And that took a long time.
Yeah, and I agree. And again, what you just said applies in anything and everything. I tell that to my clients each and every week. Every client that I talk to on the phone or Zoom with, you have to stick with it. There's going to be better days. There's going to be bad days. But once you come out of it and you come out of the water and you're getting air, you're getting that sunshine hitting your face, it's like, damn, it was worth it. And you go back and say, okay, I had to do what I had to do. And you know this, you only want to look back to see how far you've come, not to live in the past, right? And what do we do sometimes too? We accelerate, our brains just take off and they want to move into the future, which causes anxiety. And we don't want to do that either. We want to stay right here, baby. So get yourself a damn good coach and stick with it. All right, next one, brother.
Number 6 is body and mind. And exercise to me is the fastest way to build inner strength. If you want to get through painful experience, it is going to take some inner strength. And, train the body and the mind will follow. That's definitely one of my mottos. So I think a lot of us can relate to if you've done a great workout, whether that's, a weightlifting workout, yoga, or whatever, just getting your body to move, just getting your body. And in a hard workout, you're dealing with physical fatigue and actual muscular pain. In a more meditative workout or restorative workout, sometimes you're dealing with the fact that your mind is trying to swirl around and solve problems and think about stuff, and it's very difficult to push those aside. So you're always kind of dealing with some type of battle that you're doing in a workout. And when you get through that, you build inner strength. So having physical exercise of some part as part of your routine to get through the grieving process, I think is a huge, huge part of it.
100%. I mean, my top selling program for the past 2 years is called Mind Right, Body Tight. And that's exactly what it stands for. It all starts here. Your mind is the one that initiates, right? It's like the starting engine, right? And if your mind's not right, your body will never follow, because you could go to the gym all day, all night long. But again, what causes you to give you that initiative? It's your brain causing you to have more of balance and staying consistent with it. Because if your brain is messed up, you're going to be inconsistent, which most of Americans are. You know that. Meaning, I'll work out for 4 or 5 weeks and then I'm going to go back to drinking and eating and thinking that that's it,
I have a private Facebook group I do a lot of coaching in, and several of the women had some really difficult things happen right before COVID with family members that got sick or other things. And they had to step away from the workouts, and they were apologizing because of there was so much grief there at the hospitals. But it was amazing to see them report back in, starting with one little thing and one little thing and one little workout, and just how much relief they felt and how much better they felt from just getting to move their body and to do something positive for themselves instead of sit in their grief. And it's just proof in the pudding. It may not start the next day, but especially if you already have a routine before the incident happened or whatever you're going through, you can plug right back in, and it's so helpful.
Hell yeah. And that's what, God, I love that. You guys are you excited? I mean, is this a great guest or what? Yeah. Give me number 7, baby. Come on.
Number 7 is the good fight, baby. The good fight. Woo! And like when you're going through things and you're trying to deal with your grief, is it good for you, but is it good for others? Because there are some things people will do that, it benefits them, but it really doesn't help the people around you. And I think that's something that really you need to assess as you're doing it. Pulling away for a moment may be something that helps you, but if you're dealing with something here's an example that I find myself doing. When I've been in relationships and I find that I'm covering the same ground in some discussion or something that has been an argument in the past, and I'm covering it again, I will sometimes just pull away because I want to protect my energy. And that doesn't serve my significant other, my family members, my friends, where I just completely retreat and become reclusive. For a minute that may help, but it's not serving the other people, and I have to look at that and figure out a better way of dealing with the frustration and pain.
100%, 100%. Yeah. And once we control that, life really changes for the better. It's just, it's a lot of what you're saying is a lot of self-reflection, but most people don't want to do that. They're like, why should I blame myself? And you said it earlier, it's so easy to point at somebody else, right? But how can we prosper? It's by working on ourselves. Right.
And I think, and sometimes just reframing is a really important term it's not always easy to do that because you have to really believe in the new frame that you're putting up. But so an example of, rather than, let's say, when I'm working with clients, I'll say, they'll use the word blame. I'll say, let's take blame out and say responsibility. Take responsibility for your actions instead of let me blame myself or something else. It's like, take that word out for now. Look at this as ownership and responsibility. Take ownership of what you did to contribute to this. And that reframing with just those words helps a lot of people change their behavior and look at things differently.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I know we have to go to number 8 before we wrap up today, but I have one question, I guess one addition as well. What advice do you give people? Because I've had a few clients in this, you know how they go from, say, eating like crap, barely working out, to becoming compulsive. What I mean by compulsive, meaning they get so strict that my clients, usually in the beginning, I give them 1 cheat meal a week, right? And then after they lost 30 pounds, you get 2, such and so forth. But I found the challenge where they get so strict. They're like, no, I got to lose the 80 pounds or the 90 pounds. And I said, be careful, because you might end up crashing, right, by not eating any junk food at all. And then they end up messing up. So what do you tell someone that's listening or watching why they need to take some chill days off too, here and there?
Exactly, for that is that you cannot, your body, I mean, I'll give examples from the show. Like, a lot of the people that came off the show that were so strict, when they came off, they gained all the weight back.
Yeah.
And that's because your body is not able to sustain that type of extreme behavior. And you're just going to rebound. And a lot of times you may be doing a disservice to your metabolism. So you got to really be careful, whether it's food restriction, calorie restriction. But I usually will just give some real life examples of these extremes from the show. And unfortunately, some of the people that I know, even from my season, that gained the weight back. And this is another example of, is it good for you? Is it good for everyone else? If you become neurotic about this and you go home, the contestants will go home, that behavior is affecting everyone around them. Now, I'm not saying that they shouldn't try to continue their health journey, but it was making a lot of other people feel like they weren't worthy, they weren't doing good, they weren't X, Y, and Z. So there were more conversations around, is what you're doing at this extreme actually healthy for the entire family, your kids, everyone else? So hope that makes sense.
Thank you. No, that was an amazing response. I'm sure everybody can relate. You hit it hard. I love it. And lastly, number 8.
Believing is freedom. That having self-worth and belief in your ability is what really will help create the change. And, this was something I think we talked about a little bit, that believing is really freedom, that when you are going through this process, having a sense of self-worth, that you can overcome this is really important. An example of this is on the show. That teenager I spoke of, when we talked about his journey, he basically said, I explained my weight loss journey, but I had gone from being thin to being overweight, being good at sports, to not even being picked on a team because other kids looked at me as being fat and we're not going to pick you. Going from captain to not being picked. His example was, I've been overweight since all I can remember, and I've been the slowest kid. I've always been on the bench. So he never had any prior memories of being a captain or being good. So he didn't have this sense of self-worth when it came to fitness. And it was a really pivotal time for me to be like, wow, that's a different, I don't know what kind of coaching can I offer him? I can't offer him this personal journey because he's like, I've never experienced that. I don't have self-worth in this. He said, I would never expect anyone, especially a coach, to see me and see value in me. I was like, wow, Jesus. So I basically said, Austin, then we're going to wipe the past. You have to make a decision right now on this show. You have to create the moments of belief. If you can't see that from your past, or you don't think you're worthy for a coach or someone to believe in you, then you have to create it. And I brought up examples of him doing stuff against, some of the other contestants. Like Rulon was a gold medalist and stuff, where I was showing him and proving him. These are moments that you rose to the occasion. And it was really interesting at that moment for him to create a little bit of belief And it sparked something in him. And every workout after that, there was a little bit more fire. And I would remind him, I would sit there in his ear and tell him that he was rising to the occasion and when he wasn't. And it was interesting to see someone create that self-worth then. But self-worth and belief is huge.
Amen. I completely not only agree, but it's amazing once we have this shift mentally, because again, it starts mentally. I even have an exercise for my clients. I'm not sure if you've done this before. I make them write in notepads and sticky pads all the things as if, and act as if it already happened. Example, I have $2 million in my bank account. I'm a size 7 jeans. I feel great. I look great. I am happy. Even though that's not how that moment is the reality, I get them to mentally go there. So as you're going through this journey, like you said with your contestant, how he had a lot of limiting beliefs. Let's just keep it real.
Yeah.
And you were able to shift his mind with exercises, again mentally and then physically, to believe in himself, and clearly he did great. And this is amazing, man. So the audience wants to know, if they're watching, of course, because we have a lot of people listening. Brett right now is wearing two of my favorite items. I actually have these. He's wearing a awesome is it a baseball cap, correct?
Yeah, this is a trucker, actually.
Trucker hat. Yeah. It's the Love official trucker hat by Sweat by Soul. This is the company that Brett is a founder of. And if you mind opening up your jacket a little bit, he's wearing the Peaceful Warrior. And yes, this is a sponsored ad brought to you by Sweat with Soul. And for a limited time only. No, but seriously, guys, here's the deal. You guys, I have a lot of people, again, whether they're watching, listening, and this also gets broadcasted on Facebook where there's over 500,000 followers. You guys are what make this show come a reality, and bringing people like Brett Hoebel that you may be saying, man, he's awesome like you. But the truth is, brother, I want to tell you, you're an inspiration to me. And you gave me butterflies, and not in a gay sense. You made my hair stick up because I resonated with so much of what you were saying with your stories and what you've done for people. And which brings me to what inspired you to do this awesome clothing line, right? That's such a positive movement. I see it. So many hundreds of people are wearing this. Tell the audience a little bit about it before we go. We take off today.
Sure. So Sweat with Soul came about where this relationship I was speaking about, we wanted to do something that meshed fitness with personal development. When we first started dating, I took her out on fitness dates. And it was really clear from the beginning that we both were really inspired by classes or instructors that had a really inspirational message. She was a SoulCycle fanatic. We went to a lot of classes like that. I took her to Capoeira, where our instructors are always giving just really amazing motivational life moments. So we want to do a project like that. And we both were writing a lot of positive quotes. And we just said, what about a t-shirt line? And again, it was, let's do something that has to do with living a positive life, positive vibes lifestyle, an active positive vibes lifestyle that mixes fitness with this positive personal development. And we started with positive quotes like this on t-shirts, and then it just grew into hats and pullovers and leggings and a lot of other stuff. And it was also something in our relationship that it was just so fun to dive in together on something with someone you want to be a life partner with on a project like that, where you're pouring your creativity and your time and all of that and love into something. And it was like, kind of like our little child, so to speak. We didn't, it was like something we were co-creating. So that was I believe, a big part of it as well. And, I'm really, really proud of what we've done with Sweat with Soul. I mean, it's really nice. Jason is like a humongous spokesperson for us. He's just always, from the first event, really, and this is what we wanted. We knew that our tribe out there are people that resonate with these type of messages and are really proud to wear it and have a voice. And you're you're one of the main people. I remember you came in and just were so supportive from the beginning, and just rocking the gear left and right.
Yeah. And it's something, again, that I enjoy it because I believe in it. Right. So when you believe in, inspiration, love, balance, and these are all the things and more that stands for the Sweat with Soul company. If anyone watching or listening right now has yet to check out the website, I'm going to put it in the description on both iTunes, Spotify, of course, YouTube, and all the other platforms. Brett, I'm going to put you up to something here. I like free stuff. Do you like free stuff?
I love free stuff.
Okay, all right. We're on the same page. What if we were to do a cool little giveaway on my Caliente Fitness page on Instagram and on Facebook, and we give 2 lucky winners a hat and a shirt? How's that sound?
100%.
Let's do it. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Well, we can up the ante. I can do a hat and a shirt for twice, so they get a little outfit.
Ooh, they got the outfit. Okay, so everybody here, so it doesn't matter if you're male or female, right? You have for both, okay? So what you're going to do is whenever you're done watching, listening to this, you're going to hop on to Brett's website. You're also going to follow him on social media. Yep, that's another endorsement right there. And for only $2.95. No, I'm just kidding. No, but seriously, check out the amazing gear. I mean, it's like not only visually appealing, and I stand by this, the quality of the hats, the cotton. When I put on these shirts, and I have about 3 of them, I believe, I've washed them 50 times, and it just stays true to fit. It's super comfortable. So really take your time going through the website and get excited, because once this releases, it'll probably be another week or 2 for the giveaway. So stay tuned for that. And after that, who knows? We might have a follow-up interview. If this goes really well, we might even add a little 20% in the near future, which brings me to, and we have to go in 1 minute because I have a meeting here. If you have not checked out Brett's 20-minute body workouts, I want you to visit 20minutebody.com. All right. I'm the king of 12-minute workouts. I got my brother here for 20 if you want to amp it up. Brett, man, I love you, bro. Seriously, thank you so much for being here, man.
Thank you so much for having me. Always, man. I'm so glad we were able to make this happen, and I always appreciate getting to see you.
Absolutely. Any last words of advice in 10 seconds that you can tell someone right now that is ready to make the shift but is still hesitant? Go.
The dumbbell and the diet don't get you in shape, baby. Belief in yourself and accountability do. Period.
Yes. My man. Brett Hoebel, gracias, hermano. Thank you. You guys, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like, share. And if you have any questions for either me or Brett, share it on your stories. Why? Tag us. Why? Because we will do a live. Are you down for that too? Right? And we will answer your questions on a live format. Keep it caliente, mind right, body tight. Brett Hoebel. I'll see you and everybody in the next one. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you're a new viewer, and don't forget to click on the bell so you can get notifications every time a new show releases. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and feel free to leave your comments. I'm Jason Roselle, and you're watching Get Inspired with Jason.